Cancer, welcome to your weekly sidereal forecast for August 7th through the 13th. My name is Athen. So a very powerful week. We have the solar eclipse taking place this weekend. And the lunar energies are always, anything that involves the sun and moon, like the eclipses or new moons, are very important for you Cancerians because it involves your ruler, the moon. So a very significant time for all of us, but especially you Cancerians, and it's all involving that second house, which has to do with your values, has to do with your sense of self-esteem, has to do with your ability to pursue your values in life. And oftentimes this is like finances, assets, anything physical, the simple pleasures of life, the enjoyments of life. And that's where a lot of these new beginnings are shaping up for you. Now, it is happening over the weekend, so, it's always a subtle energy too. So as the week unfolds, you'll notice that dying down of energy, that introverted kind of energy, which is very important during this time period. And so reflect. I always say this with all new moons, but especially with the eclipses, solar eclipses, is go within, listen to your inner guidance, see what kind of new seeds are being planted emotionally and, mentally and spiritually, involving these second house related things. For all of you, it'll be very different depending on your personal charts, but it is involving those things relating to your values and, of course, your ability to achieve your values in life. So it's very nice. It's going to be culminating here actually in about 6 months when we have the next set of eclipses at the beginning of 2016. So it's subtle, it's slow, but you'll probably notice this energy starting to culminate this month and then going into the next few months. So with that being said, you already have a lot of activity in your second house. Venus is now direct after her retrograde movement of that second. So perhaps you can continue now to enjoy any new ideas that sort of clicked about those second house matters will start to move forward for you, and you can enjoy them quite a bit. Mars here is that you guys are very assertive here to maybe get things done, take care of things. In regards to that second house, which is a great week to do that, which I'll talk about. Jupiter's here is creating opportunities and possibilities to increase both, the simple pleasures of life, maybe the finances and assets, which has been the case for the past few months. But that'll be important to balance too with this eighth house, which I'll talk about. But still, expansion still coming in as it has been. So a lot of activity there, and I think the seeds are starting to be planted. And like I said, it's pretty significant for our life path because that's what the eclipses are all about. They're always conjuncting either the north or the south node because the north and south nodes are the eclipsing points of the sky. So with that, the north node is about life path. It's about future. It's about unfoldment. It's about taking initiative, taking action. It's all involving that second house. One thing too is it's conjoining up to Denebula, which is the tail of the lion, which has to do with seeing things differently, not conforming to the status quo way of doing things, and really just doing things completely different. So consider that too. There is this new take on it, very Aquarian kind of take on this solar eclipse, if you will, and it'll probably come from seeing things that maybe we didn't see before. So anyways, that's going to be the eclipse. Let's go and look at this week leading into it. As you can see here, it's going to be on Sunday for most of us. But at the beginning of the week, we've got Mars trining up to Uranus, which is pretty exciting transit. At the same time, Mercury will be squaring up to Pluto. It's pretty much Monday through Thursday. So let's look at this Mars. Like I said, Mars, very direct, very assertive with these simple pleasures. A sense of self-esteem is probably quite good right now, but it is going through that transformation, which is just the energies of this. But you'll probably feel quite confident. Mars trining up to Uranus this early part of the week is quite significant. It always feels quite liberating too, quite exciting. Maybe there's some new things coming in with your philosophy, maybe the way you see life, your perspective on life, because Uranus has been transiting your ninth house, which has to do with your outlook. And, that's been where you guys are perhaps finding, philosophies and spirituality that's just more liberating, more freeing for you. It's breaking free from a lot of that. So it can come in the form of, maybe some opportunities to do some traveling or some philosophical studies or things like that, which are ninth house, but probably, generally for most of you, perhaps opportunities to, increase that income, increase those values in your life, to enjoy more of that, those simple pleasures. So it's all about being grateful. And I think you guys can certainly be grateful this week about these possibilities. And again, it just depends on our personal charts. It may be something tangible. It might be, something in the actual external reality. But in either case, you should be feeling quite motivated and quite good to put in that energy to cultivate this part of your life. So while that's going on, there is also this Mercury squaring up to Pluto. So it's very important here too that this is, it's important to understand this is a tense aspect. It's Mercury in your third house of those communications. So if you have been thinking about, things quite a bit lately, Mercury in the third house can be a quite busy mind actually. With this kind of energy, it's important to utilize it in a constructive way. Pluto does help us see things very deeply, very realistically, and see the truth of the matter. And so for those of you involved with this, maybe at work or something like that, it's a great way to work with this when it's constructive, where you're wanting to really figure things out and get detailed with it. But it's also a caution to not get too obsessive about your thoughts this early part of the week. Try not to focus on, your own personal point of view at the expense of others. Be open-minded. It's very important with this. Otherwise, we can feel some frustration. So introspection, I think understanding and wanting to learn more about how you communicate and have that observational awareness of the mind, I think is the great way to work with this early part of the week. So that's the work week, Monday through about Thursday. And then Friday, we have some brand new aspects. Mostly that solar eclipse energy will be the high point, but there are some things taking place. Mercury sextiling up to Venus, a minor aspect, leisurely activities perhaps over the weekend, and appreciation for beauty. Maybe a chance to rest up over the weekend for some of us. And the sun opposing up to Chiron does signify this important balance that has been taking place between your second house and your eighth house. The eighth house is the house of everything deep. It's the house of truth, of seeing the true reality of things and facing our fears. So Chiron and Neptune are here. So there has been a lot of healing, perhaps taking place on a deep level for a lot of you. And this is on a spiritual level as well. So with that being said, this kind of energy is about honoring that and being open to that healing and realizing the importance of what it's showing you, how to have faith and trust in the ebb and flows of life, the beginnings and endings, which is helping neutralize and balance out a lot of the second house, more material aspects of life. So with these oppositions, Jupiter will be opposing up to Neptune going into next week as well. So if you have been idealizing quite heavily about, or not heavily, but just, in general about the material financial side of things, or maybe even shared resources or anything that is a non-physical value as well. It's about staying grounded with it over the weekend. Watch escaping into any, quote, perfect realities involving these things. And as long as you're willing to put in the energy and the effort to make either of these, probably your second house though, an actual reality, and deal with things for how they actually are, then it can be very good, because Jupiter, of course, is the planet of expansion. But here it's just cautionary of not going to any extremes with that, or going into too much of that deep and heavy stuff, when it is so important for you guys right now to be involved with that, as well as the healthy dose of the simple pleasures and simple enjoyments, and really being grateful for what you have in life. So all of that is going to be setting the framework for these new beginnings and seeds, which are shaping up for you here in that second house. And like I said, culminating in about 6 months. So have a good one, Cancer. Thanks for watching. If you're new to Sidereal Astrology, do check the description down below. Of course, if you'd like a personal reading, please get in touch, and I'll talk to you all next time. Take care.